Hello. My name is Leah, your digital presenter for today's event. Before we dive into the exciting and informative content we've prepared for you, here's a quick disclaimer. I'm actually an artificial intelligence, AI, designed and programmed to assist with sharing valuable knowledge and resources. I am here to provide evidence-based, up-to-date information and guidance, and will be sharing real stories from my colleagues at FND. Here at FND, we value honesty and transparency in all our interactions. We, at the Family Network on Disabilities, believe that the incredible advancements in technology, such as AI, can significantly enhance our ability to provide families with the resources, support, and information they need. All the information shared in this training comes from the dedicated team of experts at FND who have years of experience, rich understanding, and most importantly, a deep passion for supporting families just like yours. Family Network on Disabilities began in 1985 by a group of parents of children with disabilities who came together looking for mutual support. FND is a grassroots organization for persons with disabilities and their families that is family-centered and family-driven. What makes FND unique is that the majority of our board members, our management staff and program staff are either individuals with experience with a disability or have family members with a disability, which gives us the perspective of empathy and compassion for the work that we do. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit about Family Network on Disabilities. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping families across the state. We're funded in part by the U.S. Department of Education and the U.S. Department of Health through the Health Resources Services Administration. We use all that funding to provide information, resources and support, and training to families, educators, professionals, and providers throughout the state. We do not charge for our services. At this time, we would like to make a disclaimer that we at FND are not attorneys, doctors, or mental health professionals. We do not offer legal or medical advice in our workshops. We are happy to support you with information, resources, and support. We use research-based information in our training and materials. Today we're going to be talking about caregiver stress and burnout, tips for taking care of yourself. This is segment 2 of 4. So let's get started. Finding balance is key. Up to this point, we have been identifying stress and the effects on caregivers. We talked about some of the causes and the toll it could take if not careful. Let's jump into it. Let's give you an analogy. We're trying to stick to analogy of the journey. Using the wheels in a car for this analogy, I think we can all agree when we go about town something short of round, it can be a very bumpy ride. Loosely speaking, this bumpy ride can affect not only our own well-being, but everyone around us. Maybe those crossing our path, our friends, family, workmates, classmates, those in the service industry of our frequently visited spots, and they can all be affected by our full or flat wheel. To continue with this analogy, it makes it difficult to steer straight. You may even have a wreck causing you to not reach your destination. It's not our intention to upset anyone today, but we do want to share that there is a strong body of research that has identified the burdens associated with caregiver stress. We're going to give you some examples of each of the next slides. This is why we want to build more balance. There are areas we can try to build up so we can drive straight, and some of those fall under time deficits, emotional strain, health problems, and financial burdens. So let's dig in a little bit. Time. Parents set very high expectations for themselves. Often, that becomes one of the biggest stressors, and you may feel as though our child's success or failure depends exclusively on us. At times it feels like the clock is running to get them to where they need to be, developmentally or medically. It's inevitable to worry about the future. What does the future hold for my child who's just become an adult? Will he be a productive and independent individual? It's a lot to consider. The next one is emotional strain. There's two different kinds. There's internal stressors and external stressors. The internal stressors might include self-blame. And again, parents may feel guilty associated with a disability or chronic illness, and they might wonder to what degree they're to blame for the illness, if it's genetic, often shouldering the blame and feeling of failure. That's hard. When behavioral issues occur, that parent that does not approve of, they may be unable to discipline without feeling even more guilt. There's a confusion and pain, especially if they don't attain a loving relationship with a child. Some illnesses and disabilities are not conducive to warmth and closeness, and parents want so much to have this kind of relationship with their child. Depending on what condition the child has, it may be necessary to adjust your expectations and how this relationship will be framed. Then there's other people's perception, thinking the other parents are looking at you, and that they think you are the cause of the problem. This is really an expression of self-blame as well. But some parents either consciously or subconsciously come to the belief that other people hold them responsible for their child's illness. And this is very rarely true, but parents may harbor these feelings. The next one is the external stressors. That can be sibling resentment for one. Brothers and sisters of a child with a chronic disability or illness may feel neglected and angry that mom and dad spend more time with their ill sibling. They may later feel shame, or feeling guilty. There's also difficult behaviors. Certain types of disabilities are characterized by behavior that is not always what parents would want to see in their child. And when parents are unable to effectively discipline or correct this behavior, it may exacerbate and become chronic in nature. There's also conflict between parents. There are times when parents argue on how to care for a child. Some parents are differing ideas on how to handle and nurture a child. Are they getting in too much? Some might being too strict. Some may even deny that a problem exists, struggle for both as they try to understand and accept how their relationship is evolving because of the stresses of caregiving. There's also appropriate services. Trying to find and obtain professional services appropriate for the child will be the best suited to help with a child. And by understanding their own abilities and limitations, parents will be much better able to determine when they need support, and hopefully that they can afford the support. That's a whole financial issue that we'll talk about soon. There's also school placement. Where would the child have the best chance of becoming educated and independent? With services are offered in these schools for development and growth, and finding a school with appropriate facilities and staff can be a difficult process. Educating other family members and outsiders as well. Educating them about your child's disability. That could be stressful. Especially if there's pushback or denial. But this education is crucial for others who may not understand exactly what the child is experiencing or how to deal with the situation. Next is health problems. We're talking about mom and dad health problems. Not only do you have all these stressors about the potential to cause health problems, but having an additional health problem on top of what you already are dealing with is its own stress. In observational studies that have shown increased levels of stress, distress, emotional problems and depression among caregivers of children with health problems, things like back pain, 70% of mothers at children with physical disabilities have lower back pain. That makes sense. Migraines, headaches are a given. Higher incident of migraine headaches and gastrointestinal ulcers and greater overall distress. Then good old anxiety, right? Frustration, negative impact on caregiver health can cause added anxiety. Sharing the burden, worrying about the future, that whole mental health component can cause issues with health. Then here's the financial burden. Medical bills can quickly become too much to handle. In additional care and services for the child, doctor visits and hospitalizations all add up to what may be an already overburdened household budget. There's plenty more that would be worth it to identify, especially as it may help finding assistance for these difficulties easier. Stay tuned and we'll touch on the next segment soon. Here you can see our FND. Family. These are the programs housed under the Family Network on Disabilities. Each program provides a unique service to a specific population. There are 3 PTI programs, funded by the U.S. Department of Education through the Office of Special Education Programs. POPN serves North Florida, PSN serves Southwest Florida, and PEN serves Southeast Florida. The Family Star program, funded by the U.S. Department of Health under the Health Resources Services Administration and supports families of youth with special health care needs. FND also has a special needs trust where we provide families with information regarding creating and supporting a special needs trust. We also do programming specific to fathers raising children with disabilities. Here you can see links from multiple downloadable resources available in various languages. You can also see some of our social media platforms. We have various pages on Facebook addressing the needs of different populations and our programs. I invite you to check out our website at www.fndusa.org for the hundreds of pages of resources and invaluable information that you can access and download at no charge. You can reach us to help you and your family by giving us a call at 800-825-5736 and letting us know your needs. You'll be assigned to a staff person who can support you. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Visit our website for valuable resources and more information. We want to thank you for spending this time with us during this presentation. We look forward to hearing from you.